Thanks to all of you punctual people. And Madalena, the DB program chief, if we have not yet met. You see Lori Green also on the screen. She helps us to coordinate this meeting. So thank you, Lori. There is a recording in process. You should all see that little note on your screen. If you don't want to be recorded, then I guess maybe don't speak, or you probably have to leave the meeting, but that is a notification we have to put out there. All right, so welcome. Let's start going down the list here that I can see, and then we'll go through the room, and that might give a couple other people to show up in the room. So 414, is that our friend John Zignago?
Yes, he is. Good afternoon, Madalena.
Good afternoon, welcome. And 715, could it be Larry?
That's Larry. How's
Larry
everybody doing
Burkhart.
today?
Hello. Larry's at
Hello.
James Peterson Sons. Thanks for being here. Anne. Hello, Anne. Nice to see you from Arrow Creek.
Hello.
And Brent Freeman at Kramer North America. He's out at the bridge project waiting for me right now. November, Brent.
We'll get that scheduled next time, Natalie.
We're doing it in November for sure. Yes.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Brian Abley, who's joining us from Hoffman. Hello, Brian. Thanks for being here. Good. Thank you. Elaine is at Matthew. Hello, Elaine.
Hello.
Jesse Friend from Aeronautics. Thanks for joining today.
Thanks for having me.
We're skipping the room so we can just go around the room when we get to that part. Michael Holker, director at VPD. Hello. Joe Davis at CBG. Welcome.
Hello.
Kyle Bell, Integrity Grading. Thanks for joining us.
Howdy.
Ijomo O'Rourke on the DBE team. Thanks for being here.
Good afternoon.
Sarah also at Integrity Grading. Thank you for being here today, Sarah.
Good afternoon.
And Shannon at Lunda. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us. And Tiffany at Rock Road. Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, let's go around the room.
See more.
Pardon? There's more. Oh,
See more.
I'm so sorry, those of you who are a little further. Oh, Natalia Vega on the DB team. Hello, Natalia. Okay,
Hi.
so here in the room, you know I'm here. You start with Riley.
Hi, Riley O'Donnell, Bureau of Project Development, Proposal Manager and Second Chief.
Scott Lowry, DTSD Deputy Administrator.
Hi, everyone. Benji Hayek, DBE Program Engineer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tanya Davis, and I'm the OBOC Director.
Well, thank you all for being here in the room and out there in the ether. Our camera is supposed to come to us when we speak, so it feels like we're all kind of together, but it's not doing that. So hopefully this will suffice for you to see us. We have fun things happening today. Oh, wait, I see Brad Eberhardt. You joined us too. I didn't skip you before, did I? At Hoffman.
I got on a few minutes late. I'm here.
Okay, great. Welcome to the meeting. So with that, our welcome and introductions, we'll go over to Riley to give us some letting updates. Mine will be minimal, but I'll let Riley, who is the proposal management chief at Bureau of Project Development, give you some updates where we're at. We've now closed the federal fiscal year with lettings.
Yep, we'll just go through it real quick. So we had our September letting last week, just had our awards meeting. So hopefully be able to post some of those today even. And then just wanted to let you know that originally thought that there would not be any proposals in the October letting. However, we did get a barrier crash up in the Northeast region that we decided to push through with an expedited let. That's coming together and we will be hopefully posting that advertisement, next Tuesday, the 26th. We will, advertise for 3 weeks, so that, correlates to, October 17th letting. So that will be the only one, and we'll process that as quickly as we can, to get that work done this year. After that, we start in a much heavier letting season, starting with the November let. We're looking at about 49 at this moment, 49 proposals. And we'll be, consistently in the, up around the 30 to 40 range, and greater here, pretty much through March. So lots of opportunities there, and, work of all types. That's about it.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Are there federal funds on that project in October?
There will not be federal funds.
Okay, so that means there won't be a DBE goal, but still some opportunities, sounds like. So thank you for that. I'm going to give my time to Benji in talking about letting updates, and she can talk about some letting opportunities that relate to that November let that was just mentioned by Riley.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So we do have, as Riley said, 49 proposals, 47 of which do have federal funds on them, and we will be assigning DBE goals. We have a lot of opportunities. There's some specialty items for asbestos removal. Then we have our landscaping, our traffic control, our guardrail. Basically a lot of the types of opportunities that we did very well on in fiscal year 23. We're looking at those again in 24. It's starting out here in November. I did want to share with you the, since I can't talk about projects until they are let and are released for let, that will be happening on October 10th, is when the November let will come out. And I wanted to just reacquaint everybody with the HCCI website. And a few things, again, you know, for your bid letting, go here. Because we're still in 23, we go to your advertisement schedule. And as you can see here, the November solicitation will be available on October 10th. And then you can always get a kind of like a little preview if you go to the master contract schedule. This is what used to be one of my favorite things to look at all the time. It gives you about a year out of what projects are coming up. Excuse me. And I'm sure most of you guys use this on a regular basis. But it's nice for everybody just to get an idea of what it is doing and what we've got out there month by month. And for some reason, it's taking its time loading. Okay. So it still has September on there. You'll see that it does not have any October on here because we don't have a let, but then it'll get into November. This way you can check out what the projects are, their estimate range, brief description on where they are, and you know, if they're associated with a major highway. It'll also tell you if they're tied projects. So this is a really good thing to get used to looking at and making sure that you are able to get a, you know, first look before the projects are actually released. And again, this gets updated monthly and it extends for 1 year from the calendar year that it's there.
Benji, if you're back one page, there's actually a Excel version of that same thing. So
Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Okay.
So we have the master contract schedule spreadsheet. Okay, and this is the counterpart to that. It goes by the project ID. It gives you the subprogram. It gives you the range of what it's supposed to, the estimate. It tells you what kind of project it is. We're gonna be looking at your let construction. And then this gives you an idea of everything that's coming up, and they're here by numerical order, but you can sort these using this column for when it's coming up. And a lot of great information here. It gives you the county, the highway system, if it's on highway, off highway, or off system. Gives you the title, the limits, number of miles, again, if it's tied to another bid. The type of program that it falls under. Great information that you can just easily sort through. Okay, and of course, my DBE,
Always open.
always open.
Yes.
UCP directory is always open. So yeah, as Scott said, we have two great options here. You can actually go look at the master schedule itself or use the master contract schedule spreadsheet. So these are two really good tools to keep looking at monthly. They get updated and just refer back to them monthly. The other things too, if you haven't had a lot of time to spend looking at our website, we have other great resources on here, contract logs. You can see here for federal fiscal year 23, I should be in 24. But anyways, this will show you that these are the projects through May that were let and where they are in their process of being executed. So you can look at those. Those are updated all the time. And then gonna hit the back button. And then you can look at your contract payments too. You can get on the contract view, payment view system. That's where, as during the process of your project, you can go and see by your bid item where you're at and how much the state has paid. So there's a lot of really good information, a lot of good things here in the pane to get more familiarized with if you're not familiarized as we head into the federal fiscal year 24. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to either speak up or put it in the chat on this. And then I'm going.
Benji, I
Yes.
just wanted to go back to that screen.
Sure,
Sorry.
sure.
They also have another resource is the preliminary plans.
Oh, yeah.
Where some of our bigger and more complex projects that we will post those as preliminary documents when we receive those from the region, those PSEs prior to our final review. So those will stay up there through that quarter until about a week before they get advertised.
Thank you. Lots of really good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Benji. And since we have the one project that'll come now in October, but what our plan to do moving forward is for Benji to share the next month's DBE opportunities or specialty items that we see in the next month. So in November, when we're here getting together, then she can share some December opportunities. Okay,
Thanks, yeah.
thanks.
Okay, and then did you want me to?
Yeah, why don't we just go right into
Let's just go right
attainment?
into it. Okay, so we are through our LET season for federal fiscal year 23. The attainment report here and the utilization report that I want to share with you today, it is through the September LET. You heard Riley say earlier that they're looking at the awards on that. So these numbers are factored in as if all projects have been awarded. So please keep that in mind. So we have our September LET through, this is through the September LET. Our modifications reflected here are through August 31st, as are our consultant participation figures. Again, our goal was 12.41%. We have federal funds for construction and consulting at $1,073,468,468,455. Our DBE commitments to date are 24.5 million. Our DBE commitments for construction, which includes any after contract execution modifications, is 115.3 million. Total consultant and construction commitments are 139.8 million, which is fantastic. So we're looking at an overall DB attainment right now at 13.02%.
Can we see if Joe has a question about this or the previous section before we go too far?
Sure.
Joe?
Hi,
Joe.
Madeleine, appreciate it. Question I have is that the previous slide when Benji gave those numbers and upcoming opportunities, I just want to be, I just want to be transparent and ask, can I share that with the DBEs that we are working with so that they know what's coming up and they can actually reach out to OBOT to, further find out what opportunities are available if there's federal funds that's assigned to the contract?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are posted on our website.
Yeah.
That's what you're referring to, Joe?
Yeah, and also if it's permissible for me to kind of share with DBEs so that I'm not taking stuff out of this meeting and taking it back that wasn't supposed to be shared, and that's one of the things.
Okay, thank you for asking. And one of the reasons that I actually asked Benji to do that was because we record these meetings, and so I wanted to make sure that if somebody curious wants to listen, hopefully DBEs to meetings, they would be picking up these gems. So thanks for confirming that. But yeah, everything that we share here can be shared publicly.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
And Joe, after the 10th of October, we're planning on releasing the DBE opportunities a couple days after to coincide with the release for the November let. So that should be up there pretty quickly after October 10th.
Thank you.
Great questions. So as I said, right now our attainment is 13.02%. We do have after contract execution modifications totaling 23.5 million. Some of you might be wondering where I'm getting all these numbers from to get this 13.02%. So consultants had earmarked $167 million for Fed funds. Right now, they've used 160.9 million funds out of that anticipated federal funding. Originally, the anticipated goal for consultants was 20.3 million. Excuse me. And as you can see from this list up here, they've already come in at 24.5 million. So we're moving on to construction. Our anticipated funds for construction and Fed funding was 912,500,000. And through the September let, our Fed funds that have been on contracts is 912.48 or 906. So pretty darn close. We had an estimated project goal for construction of 113.2 million. Our estimated projected dollars for Fed funding in construction and consultants was 1,079,500,000. And again, if you want to look back up here, right now we're sitting at 1,073,468,000. So again, the estimates and how everything is coming through each monthly let and through our consultants, it's very, very close. But using that figure, we were anticipating at 12.41% of that 1.7 or 1,079,000,000 of 133.9. So as you can see, as of today, we are at 139.8 million in committed DBE participation dollars for consulting and for construction, which is really great. Any questions on this? I know there's a lot of numbers and we will send out a copy of this with the meeting minutes. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna jump into the utilization.
Sounds good.
Okay, so our utilization report is through the end of August. One of the things I do want to emphasize here is that we've had a total of 1,685 requests for modifications. Which is great, and the majority of those modifications are for additions, not reductions, so we're doing really well on that. Right now, the team has 142 to review. Out of that 1685, they're processing 214. Signatures and approvals are waiting for 113, and right now there's 929 approved. So from May, through May, up until the end of August, and all of totals that came before that, we have 27,270,000 additions in after contract modification. And for reductions, we have 3,786,000 in reductions. So we have 23,483,654 additional DBE dollars in participation for the modifications that have been processed thus far. We want to do a previous year comparison. At this time, we had just under 19 million in additions. As of today, we have 27 million in additions. And for reductions, we had in the previous year 1,616,000, and reductions for this year is 3,786,000. So you can see by the numbers, we're getting much better and doing great, and we really appreciate all the effort and participation between the primes and the DBE firms. This is a great testament to how everybody's working together, and we just applaud you guys, and this is just great. But that's about all I have
Thanks,
for
Benji.
this part. Thanks.
I do want to note that, we're cognizant that the 3.7 million there that she was showing of the reductions is still consequential to DBE firms. And so we've been working, Benji and Maria, quite tirelessly also with regions to talk about the impact of eliminating items. Sometimes that's the only thing we can do, or that's the best thing for the project, and so we have to accept that. But we've really been trying to sort of intervene at the WSDOT place where we might have something to say from WSDOT in terms of where those reductions are coming from. So that's something we're working on and seeing going in a good direction, and a lot of upfront proactive communication coming to us from primes and DBEs when seeing a problem along the way. And so sometimes we're able to get in the middle of that and mitigate the amount of reduction that that's going to have to happen. So just pointing out that we do, while we recognize this wonderful growth, also we want to do whatever we can to make sure that all DBs can realize the commitments that come to them at LED in particular. So a note on that, and we'll keep you posted as that develops. Joe, do you have your hand up? Yes.
Yeah, I do. I have a comment, and I think it's pertinent to that number. As I'm talking to primes, it's important for us to take a look at that UCP mapping and get DBEs from southeastern Wisconsin or southern Wisconsin to start participating in contracts in northern Wisconsin. I mean, as I take a look at just the recent letting up in Eau Claire, I'm watching those numbers, and although it's a 2% goal on each of those projects, it's significant. Whereas if DBEs who have the capacity to help fill those goals, let's just hammer it home for those DBEs who are willing to travel up to those areas and take advantage of participation and create these opportunities with those primes that's up in that area. So in my work, that's what I'm realizing, and I'm trying to make sure that that conversation is being held, especially with those contractors, BBE contractors who are certified and do that type of work in southeastern Wisconsin or southern Wisconsin. Go where the work is. You can increase your rate of return on your investment, but you also can increase your revenue by participating in areas around it. So thanks for allowing me to make that statement.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah,
that.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for adding that, Joe. Brad, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I've got a question for you, getting back to your comments about the reduction. You know, the additional DB is great, but the reduction, obviously, you don't really want to see that, but sometimes it's unavoidable. I had a conversation with one of our employees yesterday that's doing some tracking. Obviously, we track our participation on projects. How do we do it? I understand if we have a commitment to a DB, say a trucker, and they're not available when we need them. So we have a process we have to follow to try and document that, try to find another DB trucker to replace them. I get that. What is the process we're supposed to do when we have a subcontractor that our commitment to them was basically the quantities given to us at bid time, and then it's not really eliminated items. A lot of times it's just reduced quantities throughout the project. So I noticed a couple subs that are going to come in under our commitment based on just the quantities of work they performed were less than what the plan showed when the job was all done. Is our response to that is basically a reduction in quantities? I mean, there's not really anything else we can do about that until, and a lot of times we don't know until the job's almost over.
Right. Yep. That's a great point. And we do take into account that there are ordinary quantity kind of changes that happen in a job. And so that's one of the notes that I always bring up when I'm talking about what are the permissible reasons to replace a DBE that we would give approval for. I also do note that in emergency situations, sometimes you don't have the time to follow the procedure in ASP3. And so that could be a reason to deviate from the process. But another reason that you would not seek approval is if the quantities have varied as an ordinary quantity change. Now, we do ask regions, though, to do contract modifications if that quantity is big enough to affect the DB commitment. So that's sort of it happens here and there, right? But that is something that would then kind of protect you too, Brad. But thanks for that question, because that does come up pretty ordinarily, and we regularly, and we understand that. But since Brad, you're talking, we could stick with you because I know that somebody had to leave who was going to present with you, and I wonder if we just want to move over and come back to Kathleen. Would that be better for your timing?
That's up to you guys in your agenda. I know Ann, she's on right now. I don't know. I know she had an appointment, so
Okay.
And I see Christie's on now too. So I don't want to interrupt your agenda. If you want to jump to us, I don't know how much the next party or Kathleen had until we got to our project. So.
Well, I'm guessing she's going to have 10 minutes, and so maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I just want to make sure that you will all be able to have enough time to share before 2. So,
do you want to go now, Ann, so you can get to your next appointment?
We can wait. That's fine.
You're gonna wait? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks. Then, Kathleen, why don't you tell us the good news on good faith effort, and then we'll come to our prime contractor and DBE spotlight.
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. And yes, lots of good news in the good faith effort area of the DBE program. I am sharing the screen right now, and this reflects that we had total of 8 GFE approvals for fiscal year 2023. If you look at the graph here, these are the last 3 fiscal years. We went from 50 to 46 to 8, and that represents basically an 83% decrease in GFE requests. So thank you for everyone, all prime contractors present on this meeting and not present, for stepping up, because this was just a really great accomplishment that reflects a lot of, many people's efforts. There are a lot of different parts and pieces to this. I want to give a shout out again to Benji, who really helped hone in that the subcontractable opportunities and, really taking a critical look at that and being able to get that information out to prime contractors. So you're soliciting the right DBEs. We had 2 northern regions with no GFE requests. The North Central region had 29 awarded projects, and the Northwestern region had 48 awarded projects. So that was really great to see. And Southeast region only had 1 GFE approval. So just really great, news, and really happy to share it. Also on an individual region basis, if you look at the second number, this is just that raw total of, for example, all 29 approval or projects in the North Central region. From those awarded projects, I do an average of what the assigned DBE goal was. So that came at 2.66%, and then what the achievement was, and that came in at 4.31%. So if you take a look at all of the regions, all regions exceeded the assigned DBE average from the awarded projects in that region. So just another great accomplishment to share with the group. Aside from that, I don't have very much more to say on the GFE front, but please always take a look at the newsletters that are being sent out. There's GFE information included in each newsletter. We're not going to be doing an October newsletter because there's not an October LUT with federal funds, but we will be doing a recap for November, and I'll be sharing a little bit more, going in a little bit deeper with the data that you see here. But again, thank you everybody, great news. And certainly I'm always here to answer any GFE questions. If you have any questions, if you're, I understand prime contractors are busy throughout the year, but if there's any questions that I can answer in October, if you have some moments to, retool anything, I'm always here to offer some feedback and advice. So thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. And thank you, everyone. As Kathleen said, everyone worked together to reduce these good faith effort requests, which happen when the DBE goal is not met. And as you know, our friends at Federal Highways were very concerned about this 4 or so years ago, and gave us a charge to do something about it. And we've all worked together to do something about it. So thank you. And thank you, Kathleen, for your leadership and good faith effort as well. Okay. So why don't we now come to Brian, Brad, Anne, and did you say Christy is on? Yes, Christy too. Okay, great. So I asked Hoffman Construction if they would be willing to come and talk about a project that they highlighted in that DB newsletter that Kathleen mentioned. And that'll be kind of an ongoing series that's happening. And so with that, we have Brian here, and Brad, I'll hand it over to you or Brian for an introduction to this project that you're going to share, and let you take it away. If you want to share a screen, you should have the ability to do so.
I'll just get started and I'm gonna let Brian take over. Yeah, we spotlighted this. This was the prime contractor spotlight in the past newsletter, which your department asked any contractors that wanted to spotlight a job. We felt this was a good project for us to spotlight because of the large project and the amount of DBA participation we ended up attaining on the job. I think we committed at bid time. We had a goal of 10%. We were over that at 11%, and I think ended at around 14% of participation on the overall project. It was a large major project, and I'm gonna let Brian just kind of give some highlights of the job from a construction standpoint, and then we invited Ann from Arrowcrete as one of our major subs, and Christy Wade from Arbor Green as another major subcontractor to talk about their experience.
Thank you. You are muted, Brian.
There you go.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Sure.
Caught me. I was just trying to see if I could pull up an overview of the project, but I wasn't able to find something in short order. But the project was located on the I-43 corridor in the southeast region. So it's the I-43 corridor and the interchange of County Line Road, Port Washington Road. So the total contract was 49.4 million. I think with change orders, additional work items, added quantities, were up to about 50.5 million. So as Brad said, it was a pretty major project. DB goal was 10%. We committed 11.4, and to date we've achieved 13.4%. So 13.4% of approximately $50 million is where we're going to be at with the final quantities and when everything is paid out and final. So project was let in December of 2021. One of the unique challenges was the quick turnaround of the contract. We had to start already in February and March of 22. So from a December let to a February, March start date, there was a lot of work for both us, our subcontractors, our DB subcontractors and suppliers to purchase materials, get shop drawings started, and solicit quotes on materials that they didn't have. But it was just a quick turnaround with construction work beginning in early of 22. Contract started in March of 22, ran all through the construction season of 22. In December of 22, we got to a major switch stage end, and then talked to our bridge contractor, and we were able to start the final stage in January of 23 already. So there was a very short window of winter suspension on the project, but it was to everyone's advantage to get going on the bridge work right away in January. Work continued through 23, and then the project ended in early August of this year. So about a year and a half long project, but $50 million. The length of it was only a little under a mile and a half. So it was a lot of work to do in a very short window of time and a very short linear footprint too. So there's a lot of work stacked on top of one another. So, with respect to our DBE goal and commitment, I would say our buckets of DBE were achieved through 3 different areas. It was suppliers, material suppliers. Second bucket was some subcontractors, 2 of which are on Arbor Green and Arrowcrete today. And then our third was in trucking. So there was a significant amount of trucking on the project. So suppliers, subcontractors, and trucking, we were able to solicit DB dollars through all 3 of those components. This was a job that had a little bit of everything too on it. It had concrete paving, it had asphalt paving, it had a significant amount of ancillary concrete with barrier wall, curb. It had 3 bridges, it had MSE walls, it had storm sewer pipe, it had sewer and water pipe. So big electrical contract, a lot of signals, and then a lot of just restoration type work, signing, a lot of the work that Arbor Green does as well. So it was a big job that touched just about every facet of road construction, with MSE walls, bridges, underground work, some sewer and water for the cities. Couple other challenges. This is a pretty urban area with respect to a lot of the local roads were busy as well. So not only were we tying in traffic on I-43, we were also tying the ramps into 43 onto both Port Washington Road and County Line Road. So it was coordinating with I-43 traffic as well as coordinating with local road traffic, because there's a significant amount of traffic through the local roads on this project as well. Significant work day and night, a lot of night work with respect to some of the removals, some of the traffic switches. I know Arbor Green was part of the night work with hanging overhead signs, and that led to another coordination component with all the subcontractors. So I will say, all of our subcontractors performed very well. People showed up on time. It was a challenging project in the respect that there were so many stages and so many mobilizations. Each stage had mobilizations for every subcontractor. So you take a 6-stage project and you break it up into small parts and tying in local roads. I would hesitate to venture a guess on how many times Arbor Green and Arrowcrete had to mobilize to the project, but it was a lot, and that was just the way the job was laid out with all the stages and how it was tied together. So to speak to the couple subs online, Arbor Green and Arrowcrete, they performed great for us. When the job was in a stage where we needed Arrowcrete to have multiple crews, and Dylan and multiple crews showed up to keep the pace of the project, and that was no problem. There was a lot of times that Arbor Green had a restoration crew on site, a signing crew on site, a silt fence and miscellaneous erosion control crew on site. So it was the type of project where you couldn't just bring one crew and let one crew stay for 2 or 3 weeks and get their work done. You had to have 3 crews that showed up on a Thursday or a Friday, and they worked ahead of a traffic switch and were able to work on top of each other and work with other contractors. So very congested project, but overall we were very pleased with the performance of all of our subcontractors and able to turn the project over to DOT in about 1.5 years. So I think that's kind of the summary. I guess, you know what, another challenge we had on this project was the early start. Starting major construction work in February and March, there's challenges with rain, frost conditions, and we really had 2 winters of off-season construction work challenges, both in the spring of 22 to get started and then working through the winter of 22 and 23. So a lot of extra effort goes in on all subcontractors' part when you're working in December and trying to put silt fence in February. So it's part of the nature of the accelerated schedule projects, but this job had a significant amount of that work just in how the time frame was laid out. So all told, I think we're see if I had any other notes, but yeah, we're at the point of the project that we're into the final punch list, closing out quantities. So right now we're in the closeout process. Traffic has been put in its final position, so we are done with traffic switches. There's some signal work that's still happening out there, some minor punch list work, and now we're in the job closeout process. So we're in the process of getting all the subcontractors paid, all the quantities agreed, final submittals, final closeout documents. So hoping to achieve final completion and final pay on the project here sometime this winter. So that's kind of a highlight, and again, wanted to say thanks to our 2 key subs on Arbor Green and Arrowcrete. They both did a great job for us on this project and continue to work hard for us on other projects around the state.
Thank you, Brian. It sounds like there were a lot of moving parts and challenges that you all addressed. I'd like to hear from Anne and Christy. I don't know if you all talked about how you want to, what you want to share, but we'd like to hear your experiences too.
Sure, this is Anne from Arrowcrete. Like Brian said, it was a really fast-paced project with different stages, us and other subs, and Hoffman working on top of each other at times, jumping around. We did have several crews on it sometimes, and we'd have more than one machine. We'd have our wall machine and our curb machine, and had to mobilize and demobilize and move it around on the job. You couldn't walk it down the road. You had to truck it and things like that. On like Port Washington Road, I actually had a meeting, nothing to do with this job, and I told them we were working on this job, and they said they were just amazed that we could do this road with traffic going through so smoothly. You know, they're like, yeah, it's messy, but still to be able to get through the job and do what you need to do while this road's being done was really kind of nice. But yeah, it was challenging, and luckily we're around the area. That makes a big difference. I know they're talking about working, you know, Clare and other areas, you know, northern part, but it's hard to do when you have a job like this unless you're right there. You know, some days they might not have needed us for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden we need 3 crews, you know, and it's easy to do when you're around the area and you can mobilize all the people and equipment there quicker. So it can help get it done when they need it done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think
Right.
it overall went pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds like it did. And I think in the newsletter, we had a couple pictures, which we might be able to pull up at the end to show. I thought Kathleen had a picture in there. So hopefully we can do that. Christy, what do you want to share about the project? Thanks for being here with us.
Well, unfortunately, guys, you've got Matt.
Matt.
Christy is
Hey,
listening
Matt.
intently, but as a project manager for Arbor Green, she's asked me to speak on her behalf about the project. So
Okay, well, welcome, Matt.
she can feel free to interject as she'd like. I know she's not far and listening intently, but thank you. First, I want to start off by just saying thank you guys for what you do at DBE, for pushing for our line of work and helping us in the ways that you do. This project, from my perspective, from Arbor Green's perspective, was in 2023. My own personal opinion about it, I just titled it kind of fast and furious. It came and gone in 2023. It was tough in the beginning, but went pretty well throughout the process. Similar to what Brian and Ann have already kind of talked about, the tight scheduling deadlines and changes, and then not to mention the Port Washington road traffic was sometimes tough to deal with, and definitely a challenge. But I think the biggest things that I can take from this project are from at least from our perspective with Hoffman and their team, was the great communication that went back and forth on a daily basis, trying to get some of these things lined up to get the job finished. And every contractor on the project was ready, willing, and able to work with us when we came in to do work. We did have multiple crews at multiple times. At one point, we had a sign structure crew, a signing crew, and a restoration crew, and then some erosion control happening all at the same time. So, not to mention the consultant team was helpful and knowledgeable. They were pretty easy to work with too. I think we all struggled a little bit with some staffing changes, including ourselves, throughout this project, and still managed to put this thing together and get a good project and meet the deadlines that we had to meet. So from our perspective, the project went really well. All projects have challenges, as Brian alluded to, with some winter work and stuff of that nature, but definitely a good project. Proud to say I was part of it, and I guess thank you guys for all you've done, both Hoffman, Aerocrete, and the DBE in putting this together. So.
Thanks, Matt. As I was hearing you talk, I'm thinking about the multiple mobilizations and how that can be challenging when you have to go a distance. But you did have to go to a kind of a distance, right, to come to this project?
Yeah, that's correct. We've actually got a facility in southern Milwaukee County too, but that's still, and let's just take a step back and remember that here we go with I-43, right? So we're down 94, south side of Milwaukee County. Even to come from there to this project is almost a nightmare right now, to try and tie all these projects together and all the traffic patterns that we've got going on and the night closures and stuff like that. So it's a little bit difficult trekking even from there. We do have a few crews that come from Portage to that project. It's a long ways across 33 down 41 and across Brown Deer Road to get over there. Yeah, there were some challenges there, but I guess, going into it, we knew there was 5 stages. We knew that it was going to be a challenge. We understand what erosion control measures take. We understand Mother Nature doesn't help in that aspect at times too. So I guess we could at least see some of this coming. But yeah, there was a lot of in and out on this job for us, and isn't too uncommon with all of our projects, but this one was definitely unique.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think a lot of that too is just the number of players involved in every aspect you do on some of these projects. Just something as simple as a traffic switch where a contractor has to show up to set the drums, then another contractor paints the lines, then some guardrail has to come out, a crash cushion has to get set by a third or a fifth contractor, then some temporary burial wall by a sixth contractor. And, you know, the next step is to start doing removals. Well, that's great until the traffic control contractor's truck broke down and now he can't set that closure tonight. So now
Right.
we have to reschedule for the next night. So that's 6 different contractors affected because of a flat tire on the south side of Milwaukee. But that's part of construction, but I think it just goes to it's a credit to all the subs involved, and the communication that has to happen between the prime, the subs, the DOT to coordinate all these things. And sometimes you spend as much time unplanning something as you do planning it, but that's all part of the work. But it definitely forces contractors and subcontractors to be nimble and be prepared for changes. And you know, can't paint tonight because the road is too wet, but every other contractor can do their work. And, you know, a prime or a subcontractor might have their guys set up to work nights and then has to switch to days. So these projects definitely force you to be nimble and have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, because you don't know what phone call might change your whole night's worth of work or days worth of work. So. And one other comment I did want to make before I forget, Anne, don't forget you did do some work for us in Eau Claire last fall. So you do know the way to Eau Claire, because you did do some work for us on the Eau Claire project last fall as a sub to us and Michael's. So don't forget about that one, Anne.
Yeah, we found our way there and back. Okay. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made it to finish this job up.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, if you need directions again, let us know.
That's right. I know. That's what I hear from primes often is, you know, we are happy to have DBs come to us in Northwest, North Central, Northeast. Just send them to us. So I'm glad that Joe also brought that up, because where the money's right, then somebody can travel, right? You're not going to travel 6 or 8 hours for a couple $1,000s. Most likely it's going to have to be, well, worth it for you to mobilize your team, and especially multiple times. But yeah, we are cognizant of the fact that where most of our DBs are congregated in Southwest, Southeast, in order to take advantage of all these upcoming opportunities, they will have to travel to some extent. So we'll make sure those opportunities look really great. So thank you for sharing this opportunity. Anyone have questions or comments for this team here before we move along? Okay.
One last thing, Madeline, Brian was looking for an overview. I've got the overview. I'm gonna show that quick to everybody so you can kind of see. I'm gonna share my screen. Just hold on.
Great, thank you.
All right, can you see it?
Yes.
All right, so as Brian said, this job was only 1.5 miles long from one end to the other, with County Line Road basically in the middle of the job at Milwaukee and Ozaki County line. So yeah, 1.5 miles, $50 million worth of work with almost $8 million worth of DB participation. So a lot of stuff in a small area.
I mean, it looks pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah. All right, we got some work. Hey, Madeline, when you got some time to come down, we got some other jobs down there you can help us out with.
Absolutely. I'm good at that, helping you see from one end to the other. So thank you all. We really appreciate you being here. Brian, you're welcome to join us anytime your schedule permits.
Sounds good. Thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you, Anne, Matt, Christy, back there in the wings, and Brad for agreeing to do this. We're hoping to kind of keep a series going moving forward, and next week we'll do a little report out on the Lone Rock Bridge, and I will really truly be there on site in November, and it'll be Thanksgiving week, so you know, we can have lots of things to give thanks for during that period of time, including the progress there. Yes. Thank you all. All right. So now I think we could move into our industry issues check-ins. This is the time for anyone new on the call that I'm just going to come and ask you if you have anything to add. So get ready after we go through the industry issues. And I'll start with Anne. Are you still on, or did you have to leave? And
Nope,
Nishak?
I'm
Oh,
still
there you
here.
are.
I don't really have
Okay.
anything else. It's just, we're looking for work now for next year. We're rushed and got all this done. We need some more.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Well, there's more work coming your way. I haven't received any specific American Indian Chamber of Commerce information to share. And I don't know if you are still kind of their conduit or if we should be looking to get maybe another representative too. Craig with Pro Electric is no longer joining these meetings, so he still could, but he's not a DBE anymore.
Yeah, I can share anything that comes
Mhm.
along. I know they recently had a golf outing. And I'm not sure when or where the next tribal transportation conference is going to be. I thought I saw something about it, but I don't have it at my fingertips right now.
Yes, I thought I saw something too, and actually Joe Davis and I were just talking about that, so he may know. And there's also the Indigenous Business Conference coming up in October. So Joe will probably talk about that one too. Okay, thank you. Anne, Federal Highways, Jada, what would you like to share with us? Thought I saw Jada. Is she gone? Let's see. Oh, no, Jada's here. Jada, are you here? Okay, maybe not.
Jibby.
And oh yes.
Jada
Oh,
says,
thanks.
Can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you. Brian, did you have a question?
Sure, if I can just add an industry issue from the aspect of the primes, and I guess
Sure.
a few of the subs would probably agree, is just sourcing materials right now. When you say Pro Electric and Arbor Green and even Aerocrete, just sourcing materials is a huge thing right now, and it's amazing how long lead time can be for something as simple as a non-stock piece of pipe or a sign footing or anchor bolts. So industry challenges for all of us, material sourcing and supplier availability of materials are a big thing.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. Scott Lowry is here and is paying attention. Good. Oh, great. Yeah, so in the chat, coming back to the question on when is the tribal conference, the 24th and 25th of October. Okay, so Jada, we couldn't hear you, but maybe you added something in the chat. No. Okay. Well, Jada, if you get if you get that worked out, then come back and tell us what you'd like to share. NAMAC, I think I saw Ugo flash on the screen for a moment there. Are you with us, sir? Ugo Nwabarocha? I just wanted to, there you are, Ugo. All right. Anything to share from NAMAC? Maybe they're having a technical issue too. All right, well, let's see. Hopefully we don't strike out on the third one. Matt Grove. WTBA.
Hi, Madalena. I'm here.
Okay,
I don't have
hello.
I don't have any comments. Just thanks for the update. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for joining. Construction Business Group, Joe Davis. What would you like to share?
Thank you, Madalena. The first thing I'd like to share, I put it in the chat. We have a joint conference with Wistop coming up November 8th and the 9th with a pre-conference trucking roundtable with about 30 trucking companies just to talk about, the status of the industry. And then the next day, we actually have a conference regarding the DBE participation and also building capacity in the company. The good thing about it is that the first workshop that we lead off that I'll be facilitating is bidding as a prime contractor. This is something that Madalena was very passionate about. And we do have Christy Wade, that is going to be on the panel to really kind of discuss if that opportunity is available to you, how you scale up your company, and how you interact with WISTOP in order for you to bid as a prime contractor. It is not as easy as you may think. And so the next thing I'll post in the chat is the Indigenous Business Group's upcoming conference. We've been participating in this conference since its inception last year. And this is the tribal community coming together to really talk about the collective impact of all of the tribes. It's October 8th through the 11th. We look forward to working with the Wisconsin Indigenous Economic Development Corporation, which the American Indian Chamber of Commerce is involved in, and all of the other CDFIs. We've been involved in access to capital for the DBs that we're working with, not only through this organization, but through U.S. Bank. And also recently, we've established a preliminary relationship with BMO, who's interested in working with DBEs and small business so that they can have access to capital for startup. And so we're excited about that. And then finally, I'll just kind of wrap up with this notion, and that is there is a lot of creativity and expertise that's in this business that's applying and giving WISTOP a lot of intellectual capital for transformation of the industry. And the primes are willing to work with DBEs that I'm finding out. The question is that who is willing to step up to the table and build capacity in their companies so that that can continue to occur, specifically with all of this federal money coming in from the Biden infrastructure bill. And so we talk about to our clients or to our DBEs about scaling up access to capital. As you know, we have the master class that we have in place. And on a side note, WISTOP is doing a good job with that website because I can see how you guys are upgrading it. I'm almost jealous because it's almost better than CBG's website, but I'm not going to concede. I'm not going to concede that just yet. But y'all been snipping at our heels. So, you can actually see how how the industry is really starting to change. And the guys that the men and women that I work with that are bidding and on these lettings are open as I talk to them, from the Wallback Group, James Peterson and Sons, Integrity, all of the folks, Matthew, they're all willing to make sure that they are compliant, which reflects in, the good faith efforts that Kathleen talked about. So it's a good day to be in the industry. And I'll wrap up this way. I can't finish out with actually thanking Matt Grove for walking me down the true aspect of what the industry has always been. Matt has been with CBG on making sure that we understood the real skinny of it. And then, and WISTOP, Madalena, you and I, we talk on a regular basis. But the acquisition or the addition of Benji has been very good. I mean, we travel a lot and we work with DBEs together. So hopefully we'll keep that partnership growing. And here at CBG, we're looking forward to the continued partnership that we have.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Yes, we will absolutely have a continued partnership. Thanks for those updates. I see that Jada is back on. Maybe you'll be able to unmute now, or we can hear you now. Jada, maybe? No. Okay. I saw she had put in the chat she was gonna. Oh, there you are. Okay, maybe.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yes.
Oh my goodness, it's finally working. Hi everyone. Okay, so Madalena, what did you need from me? What did you need from me again? I was trying to figure out what was going on with my mic.
Sure. Yeah, just the industry issues check-in part of the meeting. So I was coming to see if you had anything to share from Federal Highways.
Federal Highways, business as usual. We're waiting to hear back, of course, from our DBECO methodology from headquarters that was submitted August 1st, and it is now in headquarters, what's been in headquarters, shoes. So they said that hopefully we will have some updates within like the next like few weeks to a month, because legal has to then get involved, and they're the ones that initially approves the final BB goal methodology and what you all have proposed. I have no issues on my end as far as the goal that we have set. However, we spoke recently that, headquarters may kind of come back and say, well, we should go for the full thing. Let's not hold back on that goal that we have set. So we just want to just kind of wait to see what legal is going to come back and say, and then go from there.
Okay, thanks for that update. And Ugo, good, you got off mute too. I was trying to come to you earlier, so
No worries. Good afternoon. My
Good
apologies.
afternoon.
Trying to work the day job and do this at the same time. So today I'm filling in for Mr. Tim, who's on our executive director, who is on his 25th wedding anniversary. And I guess he thinks that's a big deal or something. I don't know what's. But I'm filling in for him. No, on behalf of NAMAC Wisconsin, we've had some great meetings. Obviously, we had our quarterly meeting just recently. So we've been really impressed with the progress that's occurring and obviously looking at the major projects that are occurring now and are coming up. And obviously the intentional discussion we're continuing to have is speaking again, just simply as a business owner, how do we continue to not just ask the DBE or ethnic diverse businesses to invest and grow in certain areas, but obviously making sure that the opportunities, how do we motivate them? How do we create tangible and real, success creates success. So how do we continue to nurture those opportunities so those diverse businesses can invest in those areas and grow? So we're definitely very happy to be working with WisDOT. We're definitely very happy for Tim, who's doing some amazing work for NAMAC to invest the resources, the consultants, and to continue to raise that bar. So Tim would, if he was here, he'd be able to speak more effectively about the work that he's done. But again, we're really happy with the progress. I think the needle is moving in the right way, and we're continuing to build the relationship and have those necessary discussions. With that stated, I'm trying to keep it brief. Last but not least, October 18th, we're very fortunate that NAMAC is having our 8th annual forum event. We're very fortunate. I've got the information, I think, over to you, Madalena, and also to Ms. Tandra. And thank you again, Tandra, for the work that you've been doing to continue to build the relationship and, more importantly, the capacity building impact for the ethnic diverse business community. But please, October 18th, we've got that information out from WisDOT DBE. Again, talking about obviously the projects and opportunities in not just the horizontal, but obviously the vertical. I know this is obviously horizontal, but again, it's a whole ecosystem. So that's what the forum event really emphasizes, is the role of building diverse businesses in the entire construction ecosystem. So that's all I have, just keeping it brief, and thanks for the work that you all are doing, and we look forward to continuing to make progress. Thank you.
Thank you, Ugo. You did good for Tim. I think he'd be proud of you.
That's tough shoes. Those are tough shoes to fill. He's got big shoes.
Well, you did well. So thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that event, because I was going to mention that too. So good. I think we've got all of our events that we wanted to note. But Lori, maybe let's make sure that we can get those out when we get the notes out, just the dates, so that those will come out before the events actually happen. So thanks. All right, now it's everybody's favorite time. We're going around the room, and we'll start with you, John Zignago, who's in a new mentor partnership, which Roz has named Zig and Big. Are you good with that?
I don't know. I guess it's good for the program, so I guess I am in. Big infrastructure, I'm pretty confident is going to be pretty big. So I think most importantly, it's good for him, the spotlight. So,
yeah.
I'm for, kind of like Mr. Davis was saying, it's everyone's got to step up to the plate and share some of that intellectual property that, I've been passed on for generations, and it's valuable stuff that we're going to be working on. So It's exciting. I would like to say a few things in today's meeting. The first is it's a little disappointing when you're expecting to hear the wonderful Christy Wade talk and her son Matt has to talk instead. That was a little disappointing.
Oh, well, we'll get to Christy and when we go around and we'll make her share
That's just a joke. Matt
some
knows I
wisdom
love
with
him,
us.
so Arbor Green's a great company, and
Yes.
it was a great partnership. And I would like to say seriously about that project. I live in Waukesha County, and I drive through that I-43 corridor all the time, and maybe monthly. And to see that project really did have an unbelievable fast timeline. I mean, Hoffman was out there moving a lot of dirt back in February and frozen ground, and they worked every single Saturday I drove through there. That's often when I would drive through that route is on Saturdays, and they worked their butts off, and I'm sure their subs did too. So it's easy. Us competition when you're on those mega projects, we kind of keep an eye on each other, and we like to think we can do better, but I don't think Znagel could have done as good a job as Hoffman. So awesome job, awesome project. And it was even a joke in our office that because we did bid the job, like, well, I'm glad we didn't get that job, because once we saw your guys' timeline and was reminded of it, it was very intense. So that was a cool project. Two, on topic today with all the conversation about DBEs traveling out of southeastern Wisconsin, I just want to have a message to all the DBEs and to the primes that, the DBEs, you should be expected to get paid for when you travel. Znagel has done some work out of southeastern Wisconsin actually this year, and we need a DB participation, and we often get it through our trucking, and we weren't able to get the trucking. The DB trucking isn't as available up there. So what we decided to do is to bring some of our DB truckers from southeastern Wisconsin up with us, and we paid them a premium. You got to make it worth their time. No one's going to travel for free. So as part of that is, make sure you're well compensated, because primes need you guys in participation. So make sure they pay, and it should even be better margins, like I think someone else was mentioning. And the third point I'd like to talk about was kind of when Brian, I think it was from Hoffman, was talking about when subcontractors go below commitment. At the end of the project, there's an actual dollars versus committed, and usually the compliance specialist will reach out to the prime and ask for an explanation of why every contractor is below what their sublet was for or their commitment was for, because the sublets match the commitments. And you have to go through sub by sub and explain. In my 9 years dealing with that, I have never had a problem with a subcontractor going below their commitment because of a quantity reduction. I simply, when I get to that subcontractor, I say Znagel did not take any work away from this DB contractor, and they missed the commitment because quantities went down. And then I assume the compliance specialist, with maybe the help of the DB office, does confirm that. And if, as long as you can't take away half of their items and then say that, but if you didn't take away any of their items and just your quantities went down, that's definitely never been a problem. And just wanted to mention that. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks for adding so much today. We appreciate that. Larry, what would you like to add today?
I don't know if there's much I can add. Between John and the Huffman crew, they've kind of covered it.
Really? They covered it all?
I think so.
Okay.
I think
all right.
so.
Well, next time, Larry, maybe we're going to have to get a spotlight on a JPS project.
There you go.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Brad, anything else you'd like to add? At Hoffman? Okay. Maybe another technical glitch there. Brent at Kramer North America. Anything you'd like to share with us?
Nope, not at this time, Madalena. It's like Larry said, John and Hoffman, they covered a lot there.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe Brian Mitchell will have another way to come in at this, since he is working in supplier diversity. So he may have a different angle. What say you, Brian?
I would say I very much like the improvements in the website. I think they're just marvelous. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, we're trying to make it user-friendly and accessible. All right, Christy Wade. Are you gonna come on camera and talk with us, Christy? Almost. Almost. Oh, there we go.
There she is.
All right. Yes, we see most of you.
Okay, John, you don't have to be disappointed anymore. I'm here.
There's Christy. Yes. Anything you'd like to add, Christy?
I'm still owed money on the project.
Oh, which project? Okay, we'll meet with you after this.
We'll
Yeah.
get there.
Oh, funny. Okay. Well, thanks for joining.
I had to pass this over to Matt because he was the project manager. I just push the paperwork around in here and argue quantities.
Yeah, well, it makes sense sometimes, like Brian came and presented on that overall project, but you're always welcome at this meeting, so please don't be shy to join us.
I'm always around.
Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Shannon at BOA, anything to share with us? No.
Not at this
Oh,
time.
okay. Sorry. I can't tell if it's a delay in getting off of mute or if people are just stuck out there. Okay. All right. Thanks. I'm going to come to Tondra at the end. Don Miller at OES, anything you'd like to share with us?
Sure, a couple comments. First of all, the GFE effort is just amazing. I used to be in the letting area many years ago, and we always struggled with that. And you guys are doing a great job in getting those down and just doing a great job of all the processes that are been put in place to help minimize that. I think that's just an awesome thing. Mentor protege, I just want to mention that a little bit because OES gets involved a lot with monitoring and helping with that program. I think that's doing really well right now, and I think that's maybe even helping with even the good faith efforts, maybe getting a lot more proteges out there, learning things and getting more availability and ready, willing, able DBs out there. So I really think that program is going well as well. We're also we're in the process right now as a DB ourselves at OES of getting ready for our construction interviews. So as a consultant for the construction projects for next year. So that's just another area where a lot of people are busy right now. So.
Right. I know. I always appreciate it this time of year that people are still coming to the meeting because I know that can be tricky as everyone's trying to meet these deadlines. So thanks for those updates and for showing up today. Elaine at Matthew, anything you'd like to add?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Okay, thanks for being here. Jesse at BOA, anything from you?
No, I'm good. Just, thanks for having me.
Of course. Benji, anything you didn't add you want to add?
No, other than if you guys have questions on anything, we are always here for you. So it's
Great. Thank you. And Michael Holker, I don't know if we had a deputy director the last time you were here, so maybe we could announce that.
You read her mind.
Yeah. So as you introduced me earlier, I'm the now director of Bureau of Product Development, but we did hire a deputy director, and that is a bunch of you probably know him from his previous role as construction chief, is Brandon Lamers. So he'll probably be attending these meetings also in the future. So I don't have anything else to add beyond that, though.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. Joe Davis, we did talk to you, but did you have any other thoughts that came up as we were moving around the room?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, there's a hand up. Roz, yes.
Hello, I just wanted, hello, everybody. I know you probably are not ready for this, but we are starting planning for the annual event in 2024. And right now we are recruiting, not really recruiting, but we're looking for partners for the annual event. So I do have up on the screen, and I will have Lori send this out. We did post it in the newsletter that just came out for the fall, but we do have partnership opportunities, partner with WISDOT. So Lori will be sending this out to you guys. So anybody who's interested, want to reserve your level, you can either call me or email Prism at the bottom. So just let me know. And that's all I have, Madeline. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay, thanks, Roz. Yes, keep in mind, I hope everybody's got the save the date on their calendar, February 28th and 29th. All right. Riley, anything else to add?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thanks. Ijoma, our bid letting coordinator, anything to share?
Yes, I would like to encourage the stakeholders to practice using the eSummit system a day before the letting. And if you run into any issues, please reach out to us. Thank you.
Thanks. That is a good reminder. Kathleen, anything else you'd like to share?
Just a couple things. Piggybacking on some comments on the Hoffman project, I just want to let the Hoffman crew know, very good job. I happen to live very, very, very close to this. So I am often traveling where this project took place. So great job. And I really appreciated the explanation and, you know, all of the challenges that went into this. So just wanted to say that. And, you know, again, great job on GFE. Any, you know, anytime you have a question regarding the GFE process, if you're updating anything and are looking for feedback, I'm always available to answer any questions. So that's it.
Thank you, Kathleen. Sarah Janice, questions or comments?
No, great meeting. Lots of good input. So it was nice to listen, but I have nothing else to add. Thank you all.
Okay, thanks for being here. Maybe you can come visit Madison next time around again, and then you and Kyle can come be with us in person. That's great.
Lone Rock.
Well, okay, maybe January. I know, I'm going to Lone Rock, I swear. Shannon, what would you like to share with us?
I really don't have much. We definitely agree with John when he was talking before about getting DBEs up in our neck of the woods up here. It is a little harder to get DBEs to travel, but we're always willing to work with everyone because we understand that, you know, there's not much up here, but there is a lot of work up here. So
Right.
we're always willing to work with everyone too.
And we're working on that too, because we know that you can't get blood out of a rock.
Right.
All right, well, thanks for being here. Tiffany, anything you would like to share?
I don't have anything. This is my first meeting and I found it really beneficial and really informative. So just enjoyed my time. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you were able to join us. Okay, I think I got everybody on the regular list. So let's go to our OBOC director, Tandra, for some words for you, words of encouragement or.
All right. She's put me on the spot, but I do want to thank everyone, thank our stakeholders, as well as staff. The numbers we have are amazing. As we look at our attainment, as we look at our GFE, and any of the other work we're doing, the Mentor Protege program, it certainly takes a lot of coordinated effort with our staff, as well as with this group. We just thank you so much for your support, and also want to thank Madalena for her vision with the DBE program and the changes and really just trying to make everything better. And we, of course, could not do it without support from our administration, Scott Lowry, Rebecca Burkle, and Todd Matheson, as well as our secretary's office. So just want to say thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Tandra. And thanks for getting up to speed so quick in 6 months. Tandra's only been here 6 months. It's crazy. You're doing great.
Teaching me though.
Thank you. Okay, so with that, Scott Lowry, would you like to wrap it up and send us off?
I don't have much to add. Obviously, everybody's doing a great job, and I appreciate that this meeting, how everybody works together. Tandra did touch on a little bit that, in addition to Brandon Lambers being added to BPD, that Todd Matheson, previously Deputy Director for the Southwest region, is now the Deputy Administrator for DTSD overseeing the region. So obviously that leaves a gap at Southwest region, but we'll be working to fill that here shortly.
Great. Well, thank you all. I appreciate you, and looking forward to seeing you in the next couple months at some point in between, or communicating somehow along the way. So thanks. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.